Amir, in thinking about the renovations, now I know that you've done lots of renovations yourself, so you've got quite a lot of expertise yourself. How do you choose what you do yourself and what you pay someone to do? What are your considerations in that scenario?
I watched my parents when they were renovating
Yes,
when I was young.
yeah.
My father flew overseas. My ancestry, my family's from Poland. So my father
Mm,
flew overseas and helped my grandmother and her house do the whole renovation, strip out everything, waterproof everything, paint everything,
uh-huh.
install kitchens, flooring, and all that type of stuff himself. So I know that everything is possible, and especially these days,
Mm,
Tony, with YouTube,
yeah.
most
Yes.
things that you're
They're
buying the materials
absolutely.
that are pre-mixed.
Mm-hmm.
So unlike the olden days when dinosaurs
Mm.
roamed the earth and I was young,
You're not that
you
old,
don't need to
Amir.
know you don't need to know the mixture of
Yes.
how much sand to cement, how much mortar with water. It's on the bag. So you buy the
Mm.
bag and it tells you what to do.
What to do?
So the chemical composition of the stuff that we buy as the material to mix is
Mm.
so consistent across Australia, and the box or the bag usually tells you if your temperature range on the day you're
Is
mixing is
this?
between this and this, add that much water. If it's this, so as long as
It's
you're
pretty.
patient,
Yes.
literate, and have an
Mm-hmm.
internet connection for check
Yes.
the
Check
hints and
YouTube.
tips to make your life easier,
Yeah.
there isn't anything that should really scare you unless it requires a special license. So for example, I wouldn't
Asbestos.
mix asbestos, for example. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mix concrete if the concrete was for a footing, which means the base
Oh.
part that
Mm-hmm.
holds a timber or
Yeah.
holds a steel frame that
Yeah.
supports a corner of the roof.
Right.
Because you have to do a sag test. You have to do a test of the concrete,
Mm.
like put it in, then
Yeah.
test it to see if it
Yes.
slides down.
Yeah.
Well, they're very specific
Yeah.
measurements of how long drying times are. So
Yeah.
it might be mostly hard within 28 days, or it
Yeah.
might achieve 80% of its strength within 28 days, but you
Mm-hmm.
don't want a green slab, meaning that hasn't
It,
fully cured or
that's
fully
right. You
dried,
don't.
because after 6 months is the strongest it can be.
Yeah.
So if you're doing something that requires technical things, whether it's plumbing, electrical, asbestos
Mm-hmm.
removal, or some of the working at heights or working in a
Yeah.
confined space,
The
don't get
scaffolding
yourself in a
and yeah.
situation where you're putting yourself at risk. It's not worth any money. I mean,
Mm.
health, the doctors get paid a lot. So if you
Mm.
end up having to spend a
Yeah.
week in hospital, it's not
Yeah.
just the time off work, but the amount of money
Everything
you're
else.
saving yourself
Mm.
by putting yourself in a risky situation. One accident every 10 years wipes you out
Mm.
for 100 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
don't be silly. And your insurance won't cover it. If you're doing
Mm.
something illegal and you hurt
Yes.
yourself, it doesn't matter if you've got health insurance. Your health
Yes.
insurance will not kick in
Yeah.
because they'll recognize you did something that was
They shouldn't
illegal
have done.
without a
Mm.
license.
Mm.
So you shouldn't have done it. So yeah, I do when I do the renovation stuff now, Tony, it's the equivalent of somebody who is the muscle, as in I can carry the
Okay.
bricks from here to here, I can
Okay.
carry the timbers from here to here, I can
Yeah.
push a wheelbarrow from here to here.
Yeah.
So it's the non-technical
What about the
stuff that.
painting? Do you do the
So you
painting
don't need a painter's license to do
to do
painting.
the painting? Right.
I I don't work with oil-based paints. I work with water-based paints. The difference between the water-based paints and the oil-based paints is drying times, the way that you clean up your
Clean up.
brushes. Um, I I have so I went through all the training to get my asbestos license. So I've got a
Oh
class B and a
wow.
class A and a supervisor's
Yeah.
training module under my belt, so that
Yeah.
I can go work for
You
somebody
can
in a
check.
demolition crew that removes. But I just don't do that stuff. But I went
Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
training for the
Yeah.
compliance for all
So
that
you
type of stuff.
knew.
It's just not my full-time job.
Yeah.
But because of that, my gear, so when I look at my toolbox, I've got separate
Mm-hmm.
toolboxes for asbestos work, separate
Yes.
toolboxes for painting work.
Yes.
So I've got the whole respirator with
Yeah.
the battery powered
Yeah.
side pack that
Yeah.
has the
Yeah.
fans, and you look like you're in a full COVID
Face.
suit. I'm
Mm-hmm.
in the orange
Mm-hmm.
coveralls with a full
Hazmat.
face
Yeah.
mask
Yeah.
and
Yeah. They're not very
so
pleasant to
I
wear,
can
but
they're not bad. Like if you get the good quality ones, they they're
I
better
reckon
than
they're
wearing any
hot.
jumper or you see you're in Queensland, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Two
Yes.
degrees in
Yes.
Oberon?
Yeah, okay, gotcha,
Who
gotcha.
needs a jacket? You don't need a
Yeah,
jacket. You
yeah,
don't need a jumper.
yeah,
You got a
yeah,
hazmat suit.
yeah,
So yeah, they're great insulators.
yeah. I mean, I don't mind painting, but I just don't, ceilings just really irk me. I
Yeah,
can
I don't
paint
do ceilings.
walls until the
Yep.
cows come home. That doesn't worry me, but ceilings just, I would pay someone to do ceilings every single time just
Yeah.
because they're just not nice, really.
Italy.
They're
Yeah.
not nice.
Um, look, I've had times where I've done both. I've paid somebody to come out and do a ceiling. I paid somebody to come and do walls.
Yeah,
Um, I love to multitask, Tony.
yeah,
So I listen to Tony TV, or I put
yeah,
on a YouTube channel,
yes,
or I listen to a
same.
seminar on something that interests
Yes,
me. And while that's going on, I've got my headphones on, or
yes,
I've got a speaker. So I've
yeah.
got some waterproof speakers that I can use on a painting site, so that if saying water-based
Ah,
paint splashes on them, I can rinse
yeah,
them off.
yeah.
But because you always get like little,
Yes,
as you're
splatters,
rolling, you get little
splatters.
splatters, little dots everywhere. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's so
yeah,
for me, I multitask when I'm painting, but quite often I just pay somebody else to do the painting.
yeah.
But if it's a place that's remote and I know I need to
You might,
drive there to help
yeah,
as a buyer's agent, somebody else in that suburb, then apart from my 3 hour apart from my 3 hour drive that I
yes,
get great podcasts through anyway,
yes.
when I get there, if I'm staying there overnight, I might choose to work on somebody's site with their permission. So I've got the
Mm,
construction white card, which is like the occupational health and safety
uh-huh.
certification to say I'm not going to fall in a ditch. I know what to not touch.
Yeah,
All the really important safety stuff.
yeah.
So I'm licensed to work for somebody else as long as I'm just a laborer or a
Okay.
painter, not
Yeah,
just, but if I'm
yeah,
a
yeah,
laborer
yeah.
or a painter, yeah. So I
Fantastic.
I pay people to do the stuff that I don't want to do or that I'm
Good,
not licensed to do.
good.
But yeah, I like multitasking.